Decided he was going to make. Which one do you want me to tell? About the radio you
You can
made?
tell them all.
Well,
We have a
she
doozy
hasn't
of bunch
got,
of stories.
honey, she don't have that much time.
You can tell her about. You can tell her about the. Um,
And Bob and I used to love to play Pac-Man. We were good. I mean, we were way up to the fifth stage, I think, or something. But we got really verbal. You know, it wouldn't be like other people be talking. He'd say, "I'm gonna bite your butt." I'd say, "Oh, I'll get your butt." Well, or watch out for your ding-a-lang or something.
when they're chasing the ghosts.
I mean, all kind of that stuff. And I mean, it wasn't very. It was pretty graphic. And but we'd be chasing each other. That's what we was saying about each other about the Pac-Man. So Jean goes to.
Grandma gave me $5 to go shopping. She's
Okay,
like, "Well,
tell her what you
what
did.
trouble could he get into with that?" Or it might have been $1, but and I think I was like 6 or so. But I walked down to the Radio Shack, and Radio Shack were selling these. They had on clearance these Mister microphones, where you can talk into the microphone and then it comes out over a radio.
And you put it over by the window.
And Laura had a big stereo upstairs, so I thought it was pretty neat that I went upstairs and I turned on Laura's stereo full blast, and then I was talking, and I could hear myself throughout the whole house. And I'd call the dogs, and the dogs would go upstairs, and I wouldn't be upstairs, and I thought that was great. And again, little kid. And then after playing with it for about an hour, I got tired of playing with it, so I set it down. I didn't really pay attention to where I set it down. I just set it down next to the TV. And I'll let you go from there.
Well, that's what I did.
So I set it down
It
next.
was near the window.
I set it next to the TV.
Well, but it was near the window because they heard it up and down
Right,
there.
Laura's stereo was broadcasting through that old gravity feed furnace.
Oh, okay.
And it turned it into a big megaphone going out the open windows.
Yeah, up and down Highland Avenue. And so who was it came in the door and said, "Mom, that's horrible," or was that you?
No, I was little. I didn't even know it was going on.
Well, they said.
You told me you went outside and there were all these
Well,
cars
I didn't.
pulled up.
Bob and I was talking about the
ghost.
bite your butt and all that stuff.
Get over here! Get over here! Oh shit!
My
I'm gonna get you! I almost got you! I almost got you! I'm gonna bite you in the butt! I'm gonna bite you in the butt!
Going up and down here, Highland
And
Avenue.
Grandma went outside, and there were all these cars pulled up outside, and people were worried about what was going on in the house.
Oh, that is pretty good.
That was easy. And then one time he came downstairs to me and he says, "Grandma, I've made a radio. I love this one. I made a radio." I said, "Well, that's wonderful, Gene. Where is it?"
I was about 9.
And he said, "You weren't that old, I don't think."
Mm.
But I says, "Well, where is it?" And he says, "Out on the back steps." I said, "Okay." So I go out on the back steps, and I don't see all that great anyway. I says, "Well, where is it, Gene?" He says, "Down here." And I looked way down on the step as you go out the door. I'll pretend this is a step. And here was a little square like that. And I had to get way down. And I said, "Well, I don't hear anything. Would you have to put your ear to it?" So I put my ear to it, and it was going, "Oh, I hear it, Gene. Isn't that wonderful?"
I was telling you, I made a radio that didn't use any batteries.
And, yeah, and I said, "Oh, I can't. It is. There is something coming through there." "Well, how did you get where's the antenna?" "Up there." And he points up to his bedroom that he was in. Up there was a long whatever
wire. There was a wire going up into the bedroom.
And I said, Well, Gene, he said, I said, where's the rest of it? In the bedroom. And I said, well, and I went upstairs to look at his antenna in the bed. It was stretched from the 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 bedpost to the post on the dresser, all over that room for this one little.
Well, in order
Didn't
to
it?
make a radio that didn't run, that ran without batteries, I needed a big antenna with a strong signal. So what I did is I'd gotten this spool of wire, and it was a throwout. And what I did is I ran it like Spider-Man, all over the room, just like kind of like a big web. And then I dropped the wire out the back window and dropped it down to the back steps where I connected it to my little radio.
Oh my.
And it would,
Yeah, he's-
you know, it wasn't very loud because it didn't use any batteries, but it worked. But Grandma was like, you know, you walked into the bedroom, you thought Spider-Man took over because
Yeah, it was hard to get it all back together again. But Gene is my pet.
But that's kind of the things I
So
did.
with
when I
all
was-
of our, and he knows me well enough to know, just like us talking, you don't know me, but I generally come up with straightforward talk, and I don't mean a thing about it. You know, it's just the way I am. What you see is what you get.
there was others. There's other. There was
Well,
some.
she's probably tired, Gene. I was just-
She acts like I was going to go in and take a nap.
There's other some of the other situations.
What did you just say?
I said, don't you?
Huh?
I said, you said it like I'm going to go take a nap or something.
Oh, is that what I said?
No, but you said I was tired. You said, Jean, she's probably tired. I said, she says it like I might take a nap.
Yeah.
There was another time they wanted to get me out of their hair. Remember that? They gave me.
I don't know what you're talking about this time.
Well, this is when you lived on Highland Avenue, and I think I was 4 years old. And they said they gave me some nails and some screws, and they gave me some old tools.
Oh, yes.
And they
yes,
said, go to the
yes,
basement
yes.
and entertain yourself.
Yeah, we thought we was getting rid of him so he couldn't get into trouble. Yeah, we had a big, full basement. It was a big house. We had a big, full basement. And I'd fix it up, and I'd give him nails and a piece of board to pound all of the nails in.
And some
And
old
what-
tools.
Right. And we put him down there thinking that we could get him. Yes. I'll never forget that one. All of a sudden, the house started getting cold. All of a sudden, the water started getting cold. We couldn't figure out what in the world had happened, so Bob went down to see what had happened to the basement and the water and the house. He turned off the furnace and he turned off the hot water heater.
I was about 3 at that time.
Oh, my.
And the things that we give him to play with, they were still there. That's the way he was. You had to watch him every minute.
Getting into mischief.
I said to Mary one time, I said, the kitchen was very similar to over there, but you could see in it, in the cabinet. And we were sitting in the sitting room, and I said, Mary, no, we were sitting in that couch in the kitchen, because there was a couch there. And I said, Mary, I said, Gene's into something. And I looked and I said, oh, I climbed all the way up in the counter. The sink was there, but he climbed all the way up in the counter to the shelf and pulled out some banana peppers. Well, he'd spilled the banana peppers, but the thing he did, he'd gotten out a banana pepper. I said, Mary Ann, he's going to eat that banana pepper. And she says, oh, that's okay. He'll never do it again. Do you like banana peppers now?
I love banana peppers.
Okay. I thought that. I still remember that. That was the way Mary had told me. She said, "Oh, let him go. He'll, he'll never. He'll let him take a bite of it. He won't do it again." You were a cracker jack, Gene.
Even when I was barely work on things.
Oh yeah. They.
And make
He was
things.
he was cried so much that he was still a toddler, and they wanted to go to camping out to Shawnee Forest. So they took Gene out with them. So boy, I was away from Gene for a while because he was 24-hour day. I don't know that. So what do you think they did? He was crying. He always cried. And what do you think they did? They came in and said, "Grandma or Mom, we're going to bring Gene in to here to you." And I was asleep in the bed to take my nap, thinking I was going to get it. A nap, that they were all out there. So they put him right in the middle of the bed and drove back to, in the evening, they come back. I was still bouncing that bed.
Hmm.
When I bounced it, he'd stop crying. When I'd stop bouncing, ah!
There's Shawnee
That was
Forest.
the most horrible day I ever spent.
There was some interesting. Do you remember the time that we camped out? Me and you camped out at Shawnee Forest.
Oh.
Rained like a torrential rain.
Yeah, I
And
loved that.
remember, I tried to start that fire, and it didn't go up until we went to bed. And
Yeah, I went to bed.
tell that
night
story.
out. It blew up in the
Whoosh.
middle of the night.
Yeah,
And you had put the stuff in and it went out. And so when it blew up in the night and more blows that stuff, you went out and eat it.
we went camping at Me and Grandma went camping at
No,
Shawnee.
I went first.
Yeah,
And I set up the camp.
it was
And
a
it
little
started-
tiny pup tent.
And it was on a hill, on a slope. And you come to see me, so you come out to see me.
But it rained so much that
You
there was like an inch of water on the ground, and Grandma was sitting in a lawn chair.
and
to
you
stay out
you dug a little ditch around it.
to
So that the
channel the
wa-
water so it wouldn't come through the tent.
Yeah.
But I was young, and I wanted a campfire because I wanted to roast marshmallows. But it had been raining for like several days on the campfire wood. But I wanted to start it, so I tried for 4 hours to
You poured on not kerosene,
lighter
but
fluid
lighter
and all
fluid.
kind. Yeah, just for 4 hours trying to get this soggy wood to burn, to catch fire. And finally, it got so late we had to go to bed. So after 4 hours, I gave up, and we went to bed. And we went to bed in the tent. And maybe I say no sooner than 5 minutes after we went to bed, then all of a sudden there was this bright light on the front of the tent, and we opened the door, and that campfire is just like a match, just.
It's a wonder it didn't burn us up. Do you remember what I was doing? She'll understand this. Do you remember what I was doing when you came?
Yeah,
And I was out there and it was raining like cats and dogs. What was I doing?
you were in your
I was in the chair.
yes, out of the water because it was.
I was in the chair, wrapped in John's army poncho
Poncho.
because I love to be in the rain, and I was laying there in the rain, letting it rain on me in Johnny's poncho. That to me was ecstasy.
I like that too.
That's how much I tell you I love rain.
Right.
Now we'll let her tell us the story.
Oh, I don't have any that'll top those.
Oh yeah, you do.
Everyone has stories.
I've told her most of mine.
But I used to love the rain. That's what I did. I went out 'cause it was raining, set up a tent 'cause I knew it was going to rain. I loved the sound of rain on the tent was a good tent. It didn't rain in the tops of it, did it? It didn't get wet.
No, but
coming
we had
through.
there was until I dug that trench. There was a little river coming through it.
Yeah, but I had a canvas over the where we laid down.
Right, right. But I had to dig the trench because it was on a hill, and the water was coming down that hill. So there was like a little stream of water coming through the tent.
Yeah, but we had something over because we were sleeping in there. We slept till morning in there.
And then we went to the lodge, and you said it was like being stranded out in the ocean during a storm, and then getting rescued by a luxury liner.
Yeah.
The problem with me is that it's not running out of stories. It's just that the stories never stopped.
Those were all fun times. Oh, they weren't fun times, but they were. That's what life is about: having stories that you could sit and talk about. Here I am, 89, and you're what are you, Gene?
47.
I was closer to Gene than I was to any of my grandchildren. He came and decided he was going to stay with me in my basement when we built this house. So we made him a room down in the basement. So I woke up one morning and he had left the basement and going back home in the middle of the night. So, and it's a good thing he did because it mildewed down there and all my stuff mildewed.
Well, it was just
But-
really humid.
Huh?
I said the humidity down there was like really super high
We
because
put
there was no airflow.
it's still down there. We put a humidifier there for you.
Right, but there was no air circulation.
Yeah, but that's because Bob didn't bother putting any crawl space windows.
So
No, it was air circulation.
so the air got really stale. But
But it's a bomb shelter.
yeah,
There's concrete. You know that?
concrete ceiling. I know.
Ceiling down there, right in there.
Bob built it as a bomb shelter, so the ceiling is concrete and rebarb in that basement. I mean, it's a bomb goes off. That's probably the only.
Well, the insides of this house are that thick because they're really cinder blocks or slag. That the ends of the slag, like this is the side of the slag of the cinder block, and this is the end. The brick, what looks like brick out there, is really just the end of slag. So every single one of those bricks that's out there that you see are really slag that I stood them up on their ends on the subfloors and put masonry paint on every one of them. Now count them. Every one of them. It took us 8 years to build this house, but slag on masonry paint. Let that dry, and went back and put 2 coats of masonry paint, construction paint, not the paint that you buy like we do here, but Bob got paint from the construction company and put on those. I did that. I made every one of these bricks that's in this house.
This was during the Cold War, so Bob built the bomb shelter and then he built the house around it.
And then they went out here last week, or the week before last, you remember, and scrubbed this house after 30-some years, and not one bit of that paint come off. It's as pretty as can be, isn't it? I said, that is remarkable. And that's my paint job. And these walls, I was the one that painted, these walls have been painted for 30-some years. And I painted every one of these walls. Bob painted the ceilings. But in these rooms, I painted every single, twice. And we use commercial paint on these walls. That's the reason. If you take those pictures off there, you can take alcohol or something and get the tape marks off of it. It won't ruin the paint.